Thank you all for coming today. I'm Kurt Fell, Sheriff for Rock County. With me I have the lead investigator for the incident, Luke Ducharme, and the captain of detectives, Matt Jacobson. I'll get into the details and cover a few things before we take any questions. Again, thank you for attending. Prior to getting into the details of the conference, I want to let you know there are aspects that cannot be discussed due to Marsy's Law. That law protects victims of a crime and their families. There are also points that cannot be covered due to the integrity of the investigation and the need to not interfere with the potential jury pool. Due to Marsy's Law, the 8-year-old decedent will not be identified, so please don't ask for that. The Sheriff's Office and the Town of Fulton officer responded on March 9th at 6:13 p.m. To the 5500 block of West Miles Road for a missing child. The Town of Fulton officer arrived at 6:24 p.m. and the first deputy arrived at 6:34 p.m. Initial contact was made with the victim's family that were present at the scene. A cursory search of the residence was done to try to locate the child with no initial find. The subsequent to that search, we then moved outside and began a search of the immediate vicinity of the house as well as the neighborhood. In doing that, it was done with one of our canines as well as our drone team, approximately 20 or more deputies. I don't have the number exactly. And then Wisconsin Canine SOS was also asked to come out and try to help to see if we couldn't locate the child. While these searches were being conducted, we decided to detain the 20-year-old family member due to the circumstances at the time. Also, while the search for the victim was taking place, detectives from the Sheriff's Office obtained a search warrant for the residence, and a comprehensive search was then done of the house. In that, we located the victim's body. On Monday, March 11th, detectives attended the forensic autopsy performed by the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office. Later that afternoon, Sheriff's Office staff met with the district attorney and shared with him the results of the autopsy and the investigation. At approximately 11 a.m. this morning, the detectives arrested Davion Lathrop, 20 years old, on the following charges: first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse. These charges are in addition to the charges that he was initially taken into custody for, which were child neglect, bail jumping, possession of drug paraphernalia. The date of his court appearance is pending. He is currently undergoing evaluation. That's the basic details that we can share. Do you guys have any questions at this time?
Where was the child found?
In the residence.
Or where inside the residence? We heard that.
We're not going to disclose any of that right now due to the investigation.
What led to the need to secure a search warrant if the residence was already searched?
Because an initial search for a child is walking around basically calling out the child's name. I mean, we get these types of calls quite frequently where there's a missing child. And we go and look, we call out their names, typically you find them. So that's initially what was done. You're not going to go and look into particulars. Once things were examined a little bit more and we decided to detain the subject that we did, we decided at that time it would be best to get a search warrant and be a little more thorough, a little more systematic.
Was a warrant based on any statement that the suspect made?
We're not going to get into that at this time.
Sheriff, I apologize if you already said this, but what did the autopsy reveal on the cause of death?
I'm sorry, it's correct. The cause of death was a homicide. We won't reveal a lot of those details right now, but those will be within that criminal complaint when it comes out.
Was the suspect and the victim related?
They were family, yes.
Can you explain how they're related?
No, we're not going to get into that part.
Was anyone else home with the suspect and the victim that night?
During the time in question, no.
there ever been previous reports of anything happening between the suspect and victim before this?
Not that we had come across.
Is there any signs of sexual assault involved?
No. Any other questions or anything else? I know it's a short one for you, but
What do you have to say to the community who hears about this?
it's an extremely tragic incident that took place. As soon as the law enforcement were called out, we took action on the assumption or the information we had that it was a missing child, and when we realized it was more, we took the action that was necessary at the time. So there is no more danger to the community. That person is in custody.
And the death of a child is something that I'm sure obviously no one and no officer, wants to respond to. How do you guys debrief after an incident like this? What conversations are had? Is there support in place for the responding deputies?
Yes, we we reach out to each of our deputies involved, the town of Fulton officer, dispatchers, things like that, because it is an extremely trying event. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. Obviously, this is a significant effect on them. For our own people, we keep in contact with them every day over this. Anything involving the child is difficult, and it's something you never forget.
We have heard from neighbors that the suspect was running around screaming and was naked. Can you comment on that at all?
No.
Was the suspect's coherent when you took him into custody?
We were able to talk to him, yes.
We've also heard he was on drugs. Are you able to comment on that?
No, we don't want to comment on that at all. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.